Hey everyone, welcome to episode 2. In the last episode, we discussed about the Linux history and some of the common terminologies as well as Linux community. If you have not watched the video, please watch it. The link to the video can be found in the description box below. So in this episode, we will be discussing about the Linux distribution family, or we call it as Linux distro family. In this video, we will be discussing about what is Linux distribution and what are the major distribution families of Linux. Followed by, we will be drilling down into the major Linux distribution family, which are known as RHEL or Red Hat Enterprise Linux family, followed by SUSE family and the Debian family. Finally, we will be discussing about the services associated with all the distribution, what are the usage and how normally it works. So with that, let's start. So Linux distribution, when you talk about Linux distribution, what exactly is the Linux distribution? So Linux kernel, as we discussed, is the core or heart of the operating system. A Linux distribution can be consist of the full-fledged Linux kernel or the full source code of Linux kernel, plus a member of the software tools for the file-related operations, user management, and the software package management responsible for the working of the complete Linux platform. Combining all these functionalities or software packages is known as your Linux distributions, which we use it as a day-to-day operations. So most Linux kernel can always be found in this particular link, which is nothing but your www.kernel.org. So in this, you can always find the latest kernel versions and you can exactly see the source code of it. And if you want to develop or you want to redevelop your own Linux platform, you can take the Linux kernel versions from it and you can develop your own, right? And there are vast variety of Linux distributions which are designed to cater to many different audiences and organizations, and according to their specific needs and tests. However, many large organizations such as companies, government institutions, and other entities tend to choose the major commercially supported distributions from either from Red Hat, SUSE, or Canonical, which is nothing but your Ubuntu for their production workloads, right? So Linux distribution may be based on different kernel versions. For example, very popular RHEL 8, which is a common operating system used in enterprises, is based upon the 4.18 kernel version, which is not new, but considered as an extremely stable kernel versions, while the new Red Hat or RHEL 9 is based on 5.14 version of the kernel. And other distributions can be based upon multiple versions or newer or older versions of the Linux kernel. It again depends on the development environments or a particular test of the organization to choose the operating system from. A distribution can have other essential tools as well, like it can be combination of C and C++, C and C++ libraries, along with CLang compilers and the GDB debugger and the core system libraries or apps, which requires to talk to system libraries or apps which need to talk with in order to run the low-level interface of the overall Linux platforms, right? So when it comes to the Linux kernel, along with the other software packages, it can be multiple things, but important features which can be combined with the Linux kernel to develop a full-fledged distribution are your support services, which are your commercial community services which are offered. It can be combination of package updates, upgrades, kernel, and drivers and patches which require to run your software. It can have combination of multiple applications. It can be combination of libraries, utilities, and config files. Alongside, a very important feature will be combining along with documentations for command prompts, applications, and services which requires to run your overall Linux platforms. Right. Now, when it comes to the major distributions family, out of which multiple distributions available in the market, the families can be segregated into three major distro families, which we use today. And these families are not static, or you cannot consider it to be true always, as Linux is continuously evolving day by day as multiple developers around the world, contributors are identifying the new needs and creating solution to address all the issues which are coming alongside their way or day-to-day activities or are being asked in the Linux communities. And it has been keep on evolving day by day. So when you consider the representation of your Linux distribution families, Linux kernel will be the core or the base for developing any of the distributions. And it can be segregated, as I mentioned, into three distro families. First being is the Debian. Second being is the RHEL or Red Hat Enterprise Linux. Third is being the SUSE family and other distributions which are coming along its way based upon the latest developments and trends looking in the industry. So when it comes to the Debian, Debian can be again redeveloped or has been developed into other distributions known as Ubuntu and Linux Mint being in the family. When it comes to the RHEL family, it has been again segregated into other distro environments known as CentOS and Fedora. And when it comes to the SUSE, it has been redeveloped into other distros known as SUSE Linux Enterprise Server, or in short, we call it as SLES. And other form is known as OpenSUSE. And there are again other distributions as well, which we are not covering. But when we consider the overall Linux distribution family, it is being segregated into these three main families. Right. So let's drill down into each distro families. The first being is the Red Hat family. Red Hat Enterprise Linux, or in short, RHEL, heads the family. That again includes distributions like CentOS, CentOS Stream, Fedora, Oracle Linux, etc., etc. Right. So when it comes to Fedora, it contains significantly more software than the initial version of Red Hat Linux Enterprise versions. The main reason for its popularity is the diverse developer community who are building the Fedora, and the main usage of Fedora is as the testing platform for the future RHEL releases. If you don't know, RHEL is the highly used distribution among all the Linux families at the enterprise level. When it comes to CentOS Stream and CentOS, they are mostly used for any kind of activities, demos, as well as labs. As there is no cost involved to host it or to the end users. And there is again a longer release cycle than Fedora, which has again a 6-month cycle. So Fedora releases one version once in 6 months. But in case of CentOS Stream and CentOS, it has a longer release cycle. So you can expect a release once in a year or more than a year sometimes. Right. Some of the key facts about the RHEL family. Fedora serves as always remember, an upstream platform for RHEL. Any testing of the kernel as well as software releases are first tested on the Fedora platforms before it gets released to the RHEL platform. Secondly, CentOS is a very close clone of RHEL. In fact, CentOS has been part of Red Hat family since 2014, and it again supports multiple hardware platforms. That is why it has more usage than any other Linux families. Very important thing, it uses a DNF, which is a RPM-based package manager, which is used for upgrades or installations of any of the packages and removing any of the packages in the system. How it is being used, how it works, we will be doing very good sessions in the later part of the course. But for now, you can remember DNF as the main package manager for installing, updating, upgrading, or removing any packages in the Red Hat family distributions, right? And RHEL is, as I mentioned, widely used by the enterprises that host their own systems, and it is widely used among all the enterprises, which is now commonly which is available in the market. Secondly, the SUSE family. Again, the relationship between the SUSE and OpenSUSE is similar to what we discussed in RHEL, CentOS, and Fedora. All the functionality remains the same. And we use OpenSUSE as the reference distribution for SUSE family, as again, it is an open source version of the Linux distribution in the SUSE family. About the SUSE family, SUSE Linux Enterprise Server, or SLS, is again upstream for the OpenSUSE, and it is the open source version of the SLES. And for package management, it uses again a RPM-based Zypper package manager to install, update, or remove packages in the system. And very importantly, it includes YAST, which is known as yet another setup tool application for system administration purpose. How it works, we will be again seeing in the next part of the videos. So SLES is widely used in retail and many other sectors. It has again a very long usage like Red Hat Linux. Then next in the family is the Debian family. So my personal favorite are the Debian distros. So Debian distribution is again upstream for several other popular distributions, which includes Ubuntu. And again, Ubuntu is used for further upstream for distributions like Linux Mint and several other distributions which are commonly used in the servers or desktop environments. And Debian is a pure open source community project and has a very strong focus on stability. Nowadays, it is gaining massive popularity in many of the cloud providers, and enterprises are very confidently using Debian for their workloads. And it has been, since then, it has been growing. So key facts about the Debian family. Again, Debian family is the upstream for Ubuntu. And again, Ubuntu is upstream for Linux Mint and other distributions. And very important, it uses DPKG-based apt package manager, where we can use commands like apt-get, apt-cache, etc. to install, update, upgrade, or remove packages in the server environment. Ubuntu has been again widely used in cloud deployments. Like Debian, Ubuntu is also quite popular nowadays in all the cloud providers and been used massively in most of the cloud environments, which we will be seeing in the coming episodes. So what are the services or services provided by these distributions? So large organizations such as companies, government institutions, and other entities, they are more likely use the commercially supported distributions where the usage is licensed. Example of them are RHEL, which is a license-based distribution. Again, SUSE is also a license-based distribution. Similarly, Canonical from Ubuntu is also a license-based distribution from the Debian family. While CentOS and CentOS Stream are popular free alternative for RHEL and are quite commonly used by many organizations who are comfortably operating without any paid technical licenses. Similarly, Ubuntu and Fedora are also used by many developers and popular educational institutions, but still, as I mentioned, it has been gaining massive popularity for enterprises who are very much comfortably using without any extra overhead on license costs. So finally, the Linux support and services can be two-way. Either it can be a commercially support services where the distributions are licensed and companies pay for it to use it, or companies or individuals can go for community support and service-based distributions. Commercially support services distributions can be Oracle, RHEL, SLES, and Ubuntu commercial support, which is canonical distributions, while CentOS, OpenSUSE, and Ubuntu community support services also can be attached to the distribution for using a distribution in your environment. So with that, that's it for this episode. That's your 10 minutes. Hope you enjoyed. If you like it, then please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Thank you.